Namaste and good morning, everyone. Let's just start our Thursday class with some prayers. Om Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parbrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Om Bhava Swaha, Tatsavitra Varenayam, Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi, Diyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. Asto Ma Satgamya, Tamso Ma Jyotirgamya, Mrityorma Amritam Gamya. Om Sahna Vavatu, Sahna Bhunaktu, Saviryam Karvavahi, Tejasvi Navadhitamastu, Ma Vidveshavahi. Om Shanti 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 Om. In this Thursday class, we have been studying Kenopanishad, and last two verses we are going to do today and finish this Upanishad. And next Upanishad we are going to start next week is Taittiriya Upanishad, and your books have that Upanishad also in it. So let's look at verse number 8. We started it last week, but we could not finish it. So Tasei tapaha damaha karma iti pratishtha vedaha sarvangni, like a sarvangni, satyam aitanam. So tap is the austerity. Tasya means of it. Dam is the restraint. Karam is work. Iti das pratishtha, foundation. Vedaha sarvangani are the limbs. See, ang means the limbs. Satyam, truth. Ayatanam, its abode. So austerity, restraint, and dedicated work, karam, these are the foundations of it. The knowledge of the Upanishads, the Vedas are its limbs, and truth is its abode. So that means if you want to understand the deep knowledge of the Upanishads, tap, dam, and karma, these are the foundation. The Vedas and its limbs, and truth, its abode. Truth, ultimate truth, that is the abode. Okay, student wanted to hear more about the practices, the spiritual practices. He said, I cannot hear enough of it. So that's why this Rishi is mentioning these last few verses, so that we not only know theoretically the truth, but practically what we are supposed to do. We need to realize this truth. We have to experience this truth. So that's why he said this absolute truth rests upon austerity, self-restraint, and dedicated selfless work. A person whose foundation is strong can move forward, elevate himself, or you can say can walk on this noble path of truth. This capacity is needed in us. Tap. What does tap mean over here? That means a physical denial of the senses coming into the contact with their objects. That is tap. Otherwise, we have many appetites which are so low. Those appetites, they put us at the path of delusion, not on the path of the truth. They may have some passing joy, but not eternal bliss. So tapa, physical denial, the life of a tapasvi. And dhamma, dhamma means controlling and choking at its very source. That lava of desire, before even it erupts, choke it. Don't let it move out. Dhamma. That's why that's called restraint. Restraint at the very source of it. So both are the form of self-control. Predominantly, you can say austerity is physical, tap is physical, while dham is psychological. Without a certain amount of self-control, self-perfection is impossible. It is as futile as if somebody says that a person is blind but want to see the sun. When the physical and the psychological personality in an aspirant is purified, then after that, this Rishi is saying karam. Karam over here means selfless, dedicated work. When a person has practiced with sincerity, faith, and honesty of purpose, both the outer austerity and the inner restraint, he is fit for Karma Yoga. So this Karam means a Karam where we do the sacrificial rites also, spiritual sadhana also, worship also, prayer also, satsang, jap, dhyan, all these daily practices, they are called karam. Karam. That's why all these practices are also called karma kand. But doing for this purpose though, doing to purify yourself, doing the karma to attain the highest, not to attain something in this temporary world. So karma kand. When such a fit karma yogi applies himself with true devotion and perseverance in any one of those four main paths of yoga, it could be Hatha Yoga, Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga. It doesn't matter which path. The student is fit to reach the goal. Through practice and patience and long meditation, he will come to recognize and realize and live the truth that he is. So that means the foundation is strong. Personality is clean and fit to enjoy the higher abode. So that's why this mantra says that Vedas are all its limbs. So in the absolute truth, limbs cannot be, they cannot stay by themselves. The limbs are connected with the main branch. The main branch is healthy, the main stem is healthy, the limbs will be healthy too. So he's talking about all the supplementary Vedas. They necessary support the student. So as seekers of the truth, we must understand from this mantra that no education is a waste. Because all those limbs of yoga or the Veda, they are to educate us. Vyakaran, Kalp, all those we are familiar with. No bit of knowledge is redundant. And no experience is superficial. They all help us on this path. And then he talks about Satyam Ayatanam, truth abode is the real abode. In the Puranas, in the other scriptures, we read the stories. When we talk about the truth, which name comes to our mind? In my mind, it comes Raja Harishchandra. Eons ago, he took birth. He was a king, but he was firmly standing on the truth. Raja Harishchandra. So if a sadhaka fails in his alignment with his motives, thoughts, and actions, if his motives are false to his thoughts, and if his thoughts are again not in alignment with the actions, that's not truth. There has to be harmony between our words, our thoughts, and our actions. So truth. Otherwise, in the Upanishadic language, if we are not truthful like that, we fall in the category of Chandal. Chandal, so a person who is non-truthful cannot enter the temple of truth. So just look at all these qualifications which we need to, as students, work on. Tap, Dam, Karam, all the angs of the limbs of the Vedas. So that means we need to study the Vedas, to be educated in them, and Satyam. Satyam. Yeah. So now in the last verse he says, Ya va etam edam ved aprite pap manam anante swarge loke jaye pratishtati iti Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Ya va, verily he who, ya va, etam, this, evam, thus, ved, knows, apahrite, destroying, pap manam, sin, anante, limitless, swarge, heavenly, loke, realm, jye, in the highest, blissful. Paritishthati is established. Iti means thus. Pratishtati again is established. Iti means thus. Verily, he who knows it thus destroys sins and is established in Brahm. The boundless, the highest, and the blissful. That's what Brahm is. The boundless, the highest, and the blissful. Yes, he is established in it. So this is a technique of letting us know that scripture has finished. Repetition of the last word. Pratishtati iti, pratishtati iti. Because if you remember that all these shrutis, they were transmitted orally. In the book, we can see that, hey, this is the end of it. But when somebody is reciting it, giving you all this knowledge orally, how do you know? This is the way. Repetition of the last word. So this is the concluding mantra of the Kenopanishad, a vehement assertion from this Guru, this Rishi, He who has known the theme so far discussed, whatever he says, I have discussed in this Upanishad, will reach the supreme state of perfection. And state of perfection is Brahmahood. We have seen in the other Upanishads also this Vedantic principle. To know Brahma is to become Brahma. And this knowing Brahma is not theoretical knowing, it's a realization, it's experience. Knowledge alone is the cure for the ailment of ignorance. If you're ignorant about something, the knowledge. In the darkness, we could not see that it's a rope. Knowledge of light, turn the light on or shine the torch on it, you will know. So knowledge alone is the cure for the ailment of ignorance. That's why we go to Guru. That's why Guru word itself means remover of the darkness, remover of the ignorance. So the discovery of the rope from the snake is the very famous example. Again and again it comes. Or another example the rishis talk about, they say a woman once thought she lost her necklace and started searching over the house and even in the courtyard. She became very desperate, full of sorrow that I have lost my precious necklace. At that point, her husband entered the room and asked her, "What is there on your neck?" The woman slowly lifted her searching fingers to her neck. And her tip of her fingers touched the necklace, the beads of the necklace. That's how she gained the knowledge that the necklace with her was always there. With this knowledge, she regained her condition of joy. The necklace was never made new, it was always there. It was only a misunderstanding in her mind that I have lost it. It was never lost. So once she realized that it's right here, all the sorrow was gone. She was not frustrated anymore. Regained the condition of Shanti. That's what this Rishi is telling us. God we are, but we have forgotten it. We are misunderstanding ourselves only as a Jeev and fully believing that we are Jeev. And we come to suffer the agitations and the sorrows of having lost our Godhood. Sadhguru enters the life of the Jeev. And he points out to the Jeev that the Godhood is not lost. But it's always there. The Jeev first believes the words of the Master, the Guru, with full devotion and faith to the teacher, and then later on seeks for himself and discovers the Godhood, which ever lies within himself, as himself. With the knowledge of the self, he becomes the self. So that faith is needed. Devotion is needed. It is this principle of self-knowledge which is the very fundamental basis of the Vedas. That is hinted over here in this concluding verse of this Kenopanishad. This verse is one of the noblest verses in the entire Upanishadic literature. But we have to learn the correct meaning of it, correct understanding. If we go back to the body of the mantra, we can discover the beauty and the secret of this mantra. And at the end, when he says, Om Shanti Shanti, our rishis also say, God, please protect us. Let us come to experience Him together. Let us exert together. May our studies be fruitful. May we never quarrel. And this is what we said. Om Sahnavavatu, Sahno Bhunaktu, Sahviryam Karvavehi, Tejasvinavadhi Tamastu, Ma Vidvishavahi. We started this Kenopanishad with this mantra. So here we end this beautiful Upanishad, Kenopanishad, not very long Upanishad. And again, it is from Samveda. And it has only 4 small chapters. You should study again and again to get the real meaning of it. Om Purnamata Purnam Idam Purnat Purnam Udachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Visheshyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you very much.